She testified she was held against her will twice, at one point alleging she was forced from her apartment and into a car to take Combs and one of his bodyguards to the home of rapper Kid Cudi to, quote, kill him. Cudi was dating his ex, Cassie Ventura, at the time. Clark also claimed Combs threatened to kill Ventura if she didn't convince Kid Cudi not to tell police that Combs was allegedly involved with a break-in at his house. Clark also telling the jury that a large man repeatedly administered lie detector tests to her on suspicion that she stole jewelry loaned to Combs. She testified that this man said if she flunked the test, they're going to throw you in the East River.
This Diddy trial has evolved far beyond a typical celebrity case. It's now become a full-scale media eruption, drawing national attention and legal scrutiny. What began with one woman, Cassie, bravely revealing her disturbing allegations, has now spiraled into something much broader than initially expected.
According to Gene Deal.
How you feel about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and TD Jakes?
I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin. Drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she. But maybe he'd have to lay some hands on somebody. Maybe.
This is not just another story from Hollywood's rumor mill. We're dealing with court proceedings, confidential recordings, and high-profile names that continue to shock observers. Initially, the focus centered around Cassie's claims, disturbing parties, and the extent of control allegedly exercised over her life. But the case has since taken a darker, more dangerous turn. According to multiple insiders, the trial has entered a phase involving audio evidence, recordings that are said to be far from ordinary. These tapes are reportedly explicit and intense, and they feature names like Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill. The gravity of this evidence cannot be overstated, especially as it's being introduced in open court. It all began quietly with a hotel surveillance clip. No sound, just grainy visuals. Many assume that was the most dramatic moment. However, behind closed courtroom doors, the stakes changed drastically. Phones were banned and recording was prohibited.
Why would we need a 50-foot bed?
I mean, TD Jakes ain't small. I'm just saying. If it's a group thing, it's a group thing. You gotta think about, you got Rick Ross, you got Khaled, we talk about heavy hitters.
In that silence, one recording reportedly shook the room. Witnesses claimed it was so graphic and disturbing that everyone in attendance froze in stunned disbelief. Right after the audio was played, the court released a new witness list. These weren't random individuals seeking publicity, but people once deeply connected to Diddy, former artists, staff members, and frequent guests at private gatherings. Individuals with first-hand knowledge, people who witnessed events and are now willing to speak under official legal protection. Among them was Dawn Richards, known from the girl group Danity Kane, once managed under Diddy's label. Richards testified in court and upon exiting appeared visibly drained and shaken. According to sources close to the trial, her testimony supported Cassie's narrative. She stated that she witnessed Diddy physically assault Cassie over something as trivial as a late dinner. The next day, Diddy allegedly warned Richards and a fellow band member to remain silent about the incident. This moment marked a critical turning point in the trial as eyewitnesses began verifying disturbing claims. Then came a subtle but impactful moment.
Hello there, I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. Week 3 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, starting with the music mogul's former assistant, Capricorn Clark, taking the stand.
In 2009, did you observe an incident between Puff and Cassie? Yes, she was attacked by Sean and kicked. Did you see more violence by him against Cassie? Often. The government then shows Don Richard a picture of Diddy Dirty Money. When were you a member of this group? 2009 to 2011. The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs Cassie, where was it? In Sean Combs' LA home. We were recording. What did he do? He was saying, "Where the F is my food?" He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit her over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground. What did she do? She was in a fetal position. Then what? Sean Combs was kicking her in the head and the body and then dragged her up to the first floor. Glass was breaking and yelling. I was scared for her and for me too. Did you intervene? No. Did you call the police? No. The next day, what happened? He said it had been passionate and she was okay, and that it would be better if we didn't talk, that people could end up missing. How did you understand that? Death. Diddy's team then yells objection. Then the judge calls a sidebar and ends her testimony for the day. But Dawn Richard will be back on Monday to give the rest of her full testimony against Diddy. Right before they brought Dawn Richard in, they actually had a Homeland Security agent testify against Diddy about when they came and arrested him to take him to jail. So let's go ahead and get into that. The government asked, when Sean Combs was arrested, where did you go? The Park Hyatt Hotel, room 2115, where he was staying. They show a picture to the jury of his hotel suite, and what did you do? We assigned a letter to each room and began to search. What was your role? I took photographs of items and then signed them on the 6051 form. What was found in the closet? They then show a picture to the jury, and it was plastic bags full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and Astroglide bottle.
Diddy's daughters exited the courtroom quietly. They appeared visibly pale, solemn, and avoided all eye contact with cameras. Their demeanor only deepened the atmosphere of tension and unease in the room. Reports indicate their exit occurred immediately after the controversial audio played, amplifying its effect. Shortly after, the courtroom heard another shock, Will Smith's name, mentioned directly in relation to the same recording. This was no longer speculation or online rumor. It was part of court evidence. As news of this spread, the internet erupted. Audiences began reanalyzing old interviews, identifying awkward exchanges, and circulating past footage that previously went unnoticed. The connections were gaining momentum and scrutiny. Comedian Luenell once made a lighthearted remark that suggested there may have been more to the relationship between certain public figures than previously assumed. At the time, the comment didn't draw much attention. However, following recent courtroom revelations, that moment has resurfaced and taken on new significance.
And the Punisher was being directed by Diddy while he was doing the stuff to punish Cassie. Now, he could not look at Diddy, and as they go on in that whole scene and stuff like that, Diddy gets mad at him because Diddy tried to look him in the eye, or he tried to look Diddy in the eye or something like that when he was doing Cassie and Cassie was doing Diddy. It was some crazy stuff like that, man. But can we get back to the trial? Because that's in their sexual acts and what they doing, bruh. All this shit is so perverted, and people, I don't know if they really want to hear that, and if they do want to hear that, bruh, it's just crazy to me, because here it is that this mind that he has and this perverted mind that he do all this shit. I'm trying to wonder where this kid get this shit from. Is this some kind of learned behavior when he was a kid? Because you know his mama used to have those sex parties. His mama used to have those, and he used to see this shit and see some of this stuff. So is this him acting out his childhood fantasies that he saw back when he was a kid, or what? I don't know, bruh.
Later, artist Jaguar Wright echoed those sentiments, referencing long-standing rumors that were once dismissed or ignored. Then the situation escalated further when Will Smith's former assistant, brother Bilal, publicly shared explosive claims. According to Bilal, he allegedly witnessed an intimate encounter between Will Smith and actor Dwayne Martin. He provided specific details, asserting he physically walked in on the scene. The claims ignited widespread discussion across media platforms. Bilal insisted that the reason he has never faced legal action over the accusations is because, in his words, the truth is difficult to challenge in court. Adding to the speculation, comedian Luenell reinforced the narrative, stating that Will and Dwayne shared a much closer connection than was publicly understood. These statements continued fueling theories surrounding Will's private life and elevated past rumors into national headlines.
What you're saying reaches the ears of Will Smith, and he needs to get at least, if there's smoke, there's fire, let me grab a fan.
Number one, as far as Will Smith is concerned, until he does right by all of those children that were harmed and corrupted while in his care, children that grew up to be men, boys like Bashir Gray, August Alsina, your own son. Like, your own son. Do people forget about that voice clip that I played from Brother Belial?
Hey.
Has anybody seen Belial?
Come on.
I asked him, didn't I ask for him last?
Come on.
Where's Belial? Is he missing with Cuba? Have they all moved to Bali with Russell Simmons and Kevin Liles?
I would always say it is interesting when you speak on, Jaden Smith and you see the hug with with Justin
Bieber.
Justin Bieber. And then for Bashir, you see him all of a sudden fighting over Sydney Starr with Eddie Winslow. It does question what happens in the entertainment industry that makes someone go into just being very close with men on men contact. It's interesting, I'll say the least.
You want to know the thing that bothers me most about Bashir Gray? I actually think he's doing all of this so they'll take him back in the club. And they're not. They're gonna keep gaslighting you and playing with you, promising you one thing or another.
The resurfaced claims about Will Smith's alleged relationships with male figures, especially in the context of the ongoing Diddy investigation, are casting a new light on past interviews, industry events, and long-circulated speculation. What once seemed like background noise is now front and center, reshaping conversations and raising new questions with every revelation. This entire situation is rapidly escalating. A suggestion was made to speak with actress Tisha Campbell, who was once married to Dwayne Martin. That potential conversation could offer more insight, though the likelihood of it happening and the level of transparency remains uncertain.
A lot. Eva, she testified that Sean Combs at one point threatened to Kid Cudi after finding out that he began dating Cassie Ventura, but she talked about 3 distinct episodes as prosecutors today started to home in on one of the elements of the alleged racketeering conspiracy, and that's kidnapping. Capricorn Clark said in 2004 in New York, she was forced to take a lie detector test for 5 days straight on suspicion of stealing jewelry. In 2008, she said Sean Combs charged at her and kept shoving her with his hand. She demonstrated for the jury until pushing her all the way out of his house in Miami Beach when she said that she hates it here and forced her out of the house. And then in 2011 in Los Angeles is when she says she was forced at gunpoint into a car to go to Kid Cudi's house because Sean Combs was very upset.
Aaron, Clark painted a picture of what it was like to work for Combs, saying she even had to take a lie detector test. Why did she have to do that?
This goes back to July 4th weekend in the Hamptons. Sean Combs was hosting one of his now famous white parties, and he was able to wear 3 very high-end pieces of jewelry loaned to him by Jacob the jeweler. And after the party, Capricorn Clark was supposed to take possession of the jewelry and bring it on a private plane to Miami Beach, where Combs was headed. And on her way to the airport, she realized the bag wasn't there, and she said that she suspected it was an inside job. But apparently Combs and one of his bodyguards, a guy by the name of Uncle Paulie, that's how he was known, ended up taking her to what would be the headquarters of Bad Boy Entertainment. At the time, it was on 40th Street and Broadway. This was going to move uptown into the upper 50s, but the building wasn't finished, and she recalled for the jury being taken to a dilapidated space. There was only a folding table and chairs, and she remembered a huge guy, 5 times her size, chain smoking, and hooking her up to a lie detector machine every day for 5 days straight, and threatening that if she failed the test, she'd be...
The dialogue surrounding Dwayne Martin has become more intense, with many claiming they've heard more rumors about him than anyone else. It didn't stop there. Additional commentary emerged suggesting past speculation about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Those specifics were withheld due to potential legal consequences. Then, something unexpected happened. Old footage and images of Will Smith and Diddy began circulating again, casting new shadows over seemingly innocent moments. As scrutiny intensified, Will Smith responded publicly, denying any association with wrongdoing and distancing himself completely. He said, "I wasn't anywhere near that man. I didn't do any of that." But rather than clearing the air, the denial sparked a backlash. Online users unearthed video clips and photos showing the two at numerous events, fueling a new wave of skepticism.
Whereas that he's dressing like, he dressing the same he dressing like Diddy? Hugged up with Diddy? I think that Lil Rod know a lot of but I know this. 2 men dressing alike, it's just like 2 men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mill up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all the other shit, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that other shit like that.
Oh, wow.
That shit is crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this shit. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But
then Meek Mill's name emerged in courtroom audio. What followed was an immediate shift. Unlike Will, who maintained a composed stance, Meek reacted strongly. His social media timeline was flooded with defensive posts that raised more questions than they answered. The online response was swift and critical. For years, fans have joked about Meek's close proximity to Diddy, creating nicknames and circulating strange theories. Those jokes were once brushed off, but now they've taken on new weight. Every tweet, every party clip, every shared moment is being reanalyzed like critical pieces of a larger puzzle. One clip shows Meek appearing visibly uncomfortable at a crowded party while laughter echoes in the background. Another video shows Diddy throwing Meek a birthday celebration surrounded by shirtless men poolside, caught on camera calling him daddy. These resurfaced moments are now raising more questions than ever before. That moment quickly transformed into a viral meme, and when Meek attempted to defend himself by stating, "I'm not fruity, stop playing with me," the internet swiftly responded with archived footage, posts, and photos. But what truly has everyone captivated isn't a meme, it's the courtroom audio. To date, no recordings have leaked, no photos, no transcripts, just whispers. And ironically, that silence is making the noise even louder. Insiders claim the audio contains deeply disturbing content, including allegations that someone was harmed while laughter, allegedly from Diddy, is heard in the background. That's the level of seriousness being described, something beyond mere gossip or speculation. Some suggest the reason the tapes remain sealed is to preserve privacy or protect the dignity of those involved. But others argue it's because the contents are simply too explosive to reveal publicly. Releasing such tapes could have catastrophic consequences, not just damaging reputations, but ending careers, derailing major business deals, and dragging new individuals into the spotlight who have so far remained out of frame. That's what's truly driving public obsession. If high-profile figures like Diddy, Meek Mill, and Will Smith are just the surface, it forces the question, who else could be entangled in this? One name consistently floated is T.D. Jakes. According to former insiders like Gene Deal, the web of involvement might be far wider and deeper than anyone previously imagined. What began as a case involving two individuals now appears to hint at a vast and hidden subculture thriving behind Hollywood's carefully curated image. The turning point? Federal involvement. With investigators increasing pressure, those who claim to have been hurt or silenced are finding the courage to speak out. The safety net that once protected the elite may be unraveling. Meanwhile, the trial grinds forward, the internet continues digging relentlessly, and those allegedly involved are behaving as if nothing is happening. But maintaining appearances won't last forever. The digital world never forgets. And when the public feels that truths are being withheld, their determination to uncover them only intensifies. As this trial enters deeper, darker waters, a new layer is beginning to unfold. One tied not just to individual behavior, but to institutional silence. Multiple former employees from within entertainment networks are now coming forward, claiming that internal complaints were filed years ago regarding the conduct at private celebrity gatherings, but nothing was ever pursued. These aren't random claims. Some of these insiders reportedly worked security, logistics, or public relations for events where the behavior in question allegedly took place. They describe NDAs being handed out at the door, phone cameras taped over, and guests told explicitly that what happens here stays here. This wasn't just about privacy, it was about control. One source revealed that any whisper of discomfort or dissent was met with swift exclusion from future opportunities, sometimes even blacklisting. Meanwhile, court documents suggest that media executives and industry veterans were aware of disturbing allegations years before any lawsuit was ever filed. The question now isn't just what happened behind closed doors, but why it took this long to be acknowledged. Was there a coordinated effort to protect major figures for the sake of business partnerships, ratings, and advertising dollars? And now, as subpoenas multiply, there's real concern that entertainment conglomerates could be drawn into the investigation. Emails, texts, and internal memos may soon become evidence. If media institutions are found to have enabled silence or suppressed whistleblowers, this story could take another seismic turn, one that implicates not just individuals but entire corporations. What started with one woman's testimony may now ignite a reckoning across the upper tiers of entertainment power, and that's why every new witness, every sealed document, and every unearthed connection carries weight. Because this case isn't just about justice for a few, it could redefine accountability for an entire industry. More details continue to surface from individuals who've long spoken about Diddy's alleged behavior behind the scenes. These aren't just fresh rumors, they're confirmations of long-standing whispers that Hollywood has ignored for years. And if those tapes ever make it to the public or the courtroom, they won't just impact Diddy's personal legacy, they could unravel an entire network of secrets buried beneath the industry's red carpets and flashing cameras. According to statements from Jaguar Wright, Diddy appears to be shifting toward a full-blown strategy of damage control, minimizing exposure, restricting media access, and working to keep key testimonies sealed. But with mounting pressure, increasing witnesses, and federal interest at an all-time high, the question now becomes, will that strategy be enough, or is the flood already too wide to contain? What do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, or just another carefully managed chapter in a long, complex saga? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're here for the truth behind the headlines, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's a lot more coming and you won't want to miss what's next.